I'm just gonna go over the build, and this build works for tier 100s also. You just need to change a few talents here and there, but overall it's the same. The snow build here, I don't have a unique helmet, so I just use this. It gives you unstoppable, and unstoppable is important because it gives you this bonus from this unique. Raiment gives you more damage. Gravitational, important for the build to work. Asus gives you a lot of crit chance and damage. I have Edgemaster since you're always full on mana. Some more damage. Control doesn't do anything for the boss since we don't stagger it. And Disobedience doesn't really do anything for us since the boss doesn't really hit hard. So a lot of the gear is not like fully optimized to be like a boss killer, but it combines both speed running T100s and being able to boss. So you have the tankiness to do T100s pretty easily, and enough DPS to kill bosses really fast anyways. So for the bossing setup, I use Ravenous, Chemomancy, Prey on Weak, First Touched, and Anticipation. For T100s, what I do, I just swap out Anticipation with Domination. Now, you could play around with this if you want to swap out Chemomancy for Anticipation. All this does for us is lowers the cooldown on our ultimate by 10 seconds. Unstable currents, which is pretty significant, but I feel that I'm able to just get away with it. Like 10 seconds isn't a deal breaker. I would rather just do even more damage. So that is and the healing is nice, but it's not that significant. So these are about equivalent, and you could just like swap them out. For the skill tree, what I do, I took out points from potent warding since I'm already res capped and I don't really need this, so I put the extra 3 points elsewhere. Then we have elemental dominance, more damage. So all this is just kind of the standard setup for T100s. I'll show you the setup that I use for T100s though. So what I like to do is go over here, take out point and static discharge, and you can go over here. So you have an option. What I like to do is either go with Frostbolt or you can go with Fireball. Still not sure which of the two is better, but I'm still experimenting on it. Fireball, what it does when you're doing a T100s, whenever you kill an enemy, it makes a big chain reaction of explosions. But the thing is, it doesn't like work on certain things, like on structures and stuff. What Frostbolt does is it applies a chill, and the reason that's important is because we go down here under our abilities. I put points into Hoarfrost, and this allows us to do more damage, more multiplicative damage. So you get 9% and then 18% if they're frozen. So whenever we Frost Nova, we just do a lot of damage. And since we're able to apply chill through the use of Frostbolt, just direct damage from skills, which is a ball lightning. It's direct damage. We're able to get this amplification. So it depends which of the two you want to use. If you want to use Frostball, you get that synergy with Frost. If we're going to use Fireball, what I would do is take out the points from Frost and then move them back to teleport. So if you don't want to spend the 4 points to do more damage and you just want like more utility, you can put points into teleport. But if you want to use Frostball, take out the Fireball point and you can just spend it anywhere, honestly. And just make sure you get the points in Lord Frost. Now the other benefit about getting the Frostball enchant is if you go on your Paragon board under right here, and whenever you're using control for T100s, we're able to get an additional 10% more damage because chilled enemies, since we're able to chill them because we have the Frostbolt enchant. So not only when we stun or freeze them, which is our Frost Nova and our teleports, since we don't have a way to slow, we're still able to chill them. So we have increased damage with this. Now, if you just want to do just boss killing, swap out control for exploit. Since control only applies when the boss is CC'd, and since we do so much damage, we're not able to stagger the boss in time, just use exploit instead. Other than that, it's about the same as far as the Paragon board goes. So the first board I have reinforced. Just I have more resistance cap, helps you out, and more damage reduction. You could swap this out for a different glyph here, like Tactician, or even Elementalist. But I'm not sure about losing out on the defense skill. I think you're just getting too greedy. I mean, you kill things so fast anyway, it doesn't really matter. You just need to survive like getting one shot. So if you could survive one shot, it gives you enough time to like use your shield, your defense. It gives you enough time to react, essentially. For the second board, Static Surge, since I don't feel that I need the extra mana and the resource gem, I took out the points here. But if you're like struggling with mana sustain, get the points here in Static Surge, and what you would do is go on your ability tab and put Chain Lightning on here. So what you would do is, like, if you're struggling on mana, instead of the Fireball enchant, put 1 point into Chain Lightning, get on your butt, and then put Chain Lightning here. And so what that does is that whenever you cast an ability, it will randomly proc Chain Lightning, and then because you have the Static Surge, you're able to get more mana back. That's only if you're struggling with mana. If you feel like your mana sustain is strong enough, and you just want more damage, you could take these points out, and you can put them elsewhere that gives you more damage. So the second one, I put Territorial. For the third Paragon board, I have Charged. The reason for this one is just because we pick up a lot of Crackling Energy, and so we have 15% more damage constantly uptime. The Crackling Energy damage itself doesn't really do a whole lot, but the important part is the second part of it. But that's why you level up this glyph last. Then over here, like I said, exploit if you're just fighting bosses, but if you're going to be doing nightmare dungeons, just use control instead. And everything here will help out a lot. Crowd controls enemies. Since we're able to apply chill with our Frostbolt enchant, we're able to do a lot more damage constantly. And whenever we stun with our teleport with Fragment or even Frost Nova, we'll do even more damage. And because we also have the Orfrost from our talent tree, whenever we Frost Nova, we do a ridiculous amount of damage. So that's the synergy of using Frostbolt enchant, because you have points in here, and then you have higher uptime with Hoarfrost and Control. So that's kind of the only change that I made for Nightmare Dungeons, is that, but up to you if you want to use Frostbolt or if you want to use Fireball. Yeah, I think that's about it as far as that goes. Ball Lightning doesn't really do a whole lot because you're always constantly moving, and like things just start dying. So like nothing really stays alive enough for this to do anything. Yeah, and the other enchantments, they're not really all that impactful as far as what I've been testing. Okay, so going back to the board. So our third board, so this is second, so over here third, we have Charged. This is the enchantment master board. Our fourth, we have a Caesar's Conduit, and we put Control. And if you're just fighting bosses, use Exploit. For this board, Burning Instinct, we use Destruction. And second to last, we use Adept and the Elemental Summoner board. The last board is over here, and we put Blame Peter. And we do more damage to burning enemies since we have our Firebolts right here. We're able to get benefit with the Flame Peter board. So we're always constantly doing more damage to burning enemies. And the other reason we have not Flame Peter, but the Burning Firebolt, is because we also have Devouring Blaze. So that also helps us out with doing more damage as well. Okay, that is it. This build can work for both Nightmare Dungeons and bosses. And I don't know, I feel like the game's pretty easy, I guess, once you get gear. When you're first starting out, the hardest part is just mana sustain. So the most important thing what you want to look for in gear is make sure you have a resource generator on your rings. And then you want mana cost reduction on your necklace. Anything that gives you mana. Resource generator on your offhand and your rings. Mana cost reduction on your boots, if you can. And that will help you out quite a lot. Once you're able to solve your mana issues, you can start investing points for mana sustain. Like you don't need Arc Lash anymore eventually, and right here you won't need the Static Surge anymore. You also don't need like the recharging aspect either, like some of the other builds we're using. So eventually you just get enough mana sustain that you don't need those, and you can just opt for more damage. But yeah, that is it as far as that goes. This is like a quick overview on what I have. So with Asus, you're able to get a move speed cap, and when you have the move speed cap, your Ravenous also does more damage, more attack speed. So right now it's at 49.6, but when I press F8, it's gonna go up to almost 80%. See? That's the other reason why I'm using Ravenous. Not Ravenous. Ravenous Asus. Your crit chance goes up to 62%. Move speed goes pretty much to 100%. Attack speed bonus goes up to 100% with Ravenous. Your resistance is pretty much almost capped. What I could do to get the extra 5%, I could either spend 1 point on the skill tree right here, or I could just swap out a gem and just get another diamond. But I don't know, 5% isn't a huge deal breaker for me. To get armor cap, I just press ice armor, and then the disobedience stacks gives me armor cap. Yeah, and that's about it. So, quick overview. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.